짱이가 좋아하는 랜덤 게임! 랜덤 게임! Game start!
Wait, do you know this song? Chances are you've at least come across it once, maybe in a public place or scrolling through social media. But did you know it's a song from a Korean girl group singer? How did this song get so famous and iconic? And how did East Asian music as a whole get so popular all of a sudden? First, let's look into history. Before the pre-modern era, cultural exchanges across the Silk Roads shaped traditional East Asian music. This is why there are so many similarities within music of various East Asian cultures during this time period. For example, the Japanese koto and the Korean kayagum resemble each other in appearance, and so do the Chinese and Korean transverse flutes. East Asian music was influenced and built upon religious and cultural rituals. Music was also used in courts to establish authority of the ruling class as well as for entertainment. For example, the Japanese imperial court music was called kagaku, while Korea used pansori for dramatic storytelling. The main three East Asian countries prominent in pop culture today are China, Japan, and Korea, so let's take a look at how they each came into global recognition. First, China has been a global superpower since almost every part of written history. Unification during the Qin dynasty allowed China to dominate East Asia through trade and exchange, facilitated by their economic and technological developments, and also through tributaries. To this day, China remains the world's leading exporter of goods. In Japan, the isolationist policy ended with the arrival of Commodore Matthew Perry in 1853, which led Japan to open its ports and rapidly industrialize by incorporating Western influence in order to keep from losing its own culture to Western powers. This rapid industrialization, called the Meiji Restoration, allowed Japan, a once remote island country, to appear in the global market as a leader in Asia. Similarly to Japan, Korea had an isolationist policy called the Hermit Kingdom during the Joseon dynasty and was cut off from global affairs under Japanese imperial rule until the end of World War II, which ended Japanese control. Also parallel to Japan, South Korea, not North, followed a rapid industrialization process called the Miracle on the Han River. This was successful in increasing exports and emphasizing civilian education due to strong government intervention. Soon after, Korea caught up and became a global leader in various industries. Industrialization of these three countries modernized their governments, which allowed the next step in entering pop culture, westernization of their music. First, let's look at Korea. During Japanese imperialism, Korea created the trot genre of music, which were adaptations of enka, Western-influenced Japanese songs. Trot became popular as a way to express sorrow towards Japanese colonization and remained popular afterwards. Then later in the 1990s, Seoyeon and boys made a mark on history as the pioneers of K-pop. The boy band set the foundation for Korea's future massive K-pop industry away from the then popular trot genre by creating music that blended Western styles like hip-hop and R&B with Korean elements. During this time, Japan incorporated Western influence into their music as well. Blending enka and other Western-influenced styles birthed Japanese popular music called gaeokyogu in the 1920s. Decades later, in the 1990s, when Seoyeon and boys were also active, J-pop arose and surged in popularity as it added stronger Western elements like hip-hop and R&B into its music. J-pop was the first to introduce idol culture. The group Johnny's, which debuted in 1962, created the idol training system which the K-pop industry later emulated for their own purposes. In China, C-pop began in the 1920s with shidaichu, a style which blended Chinese traditional folk music with Western jazz. During the 1960s, musicians started using more Western-style pop and rock styles in C-pop, replacing shidaichu. In the 80s, C-pop stars began to emerge, just before idol culture began in Japan. While China has always been known for its global power, it is not a country known for its influence on pop culture, partially because of government restrictions of media limiting its global accessibility. While J-pop did gain major popularity in the 1990s and 2000s, K-pop soon replaced them as the major face of Asian global entertainment. Passing the era of industrialization and moving into globalization, the rise of the internet and other communication technologies connected the world, breaking down geographical barriers, arguably the most important factor in spreading East Asian music worldwide. Music platforms like Spotify and YouTube granted access to Asian music throughout the world, and social media helped it boom tremendously in popularity, fostering a sense of connection between artists and fans. K-pop, which was designed with global appeal in mind, became especially popular and attracted a global audience, taking full advantage of these platforms and the internet. However, this surge in global attention into the East Asian market could not have happened without Hallyu. Hallyu, which literally means the Korean wave, describes the global phenomenon of South Korea's sudden increase in cultural exports, or in other words, Korea's boom in international attention. Many agree this happened with Psy's Gangnam Style, which was released in 2012 and shook the entire internet. It became so famous that most have at least heard the song not knowing it's K-pop. Like Gangnam Style, Hallyu was facilitated strongly by K-pop, but also through films, K-dramas, fashion, and more. Thanks to the Korean wave, South Korea was able to make a name for itself just a few decades after decolonization. Due to successful industrialization, Korean culture dominated online platforms, sweeping social media trends and entertainment all over the world. And of course, there is more to be said about K-pop. K-pop became undoubtedly the most dominant driving force in East Asian music consumption worldwide. K-pop is characterized by its catchy melodies, seemingly perfect visuals, and trendy choreography, which has gained attention worldwide to an audience of all ages. Whether you mock the genre or stan multiple groups, one thing is for sure: K-pop cannot be ignored in today's pop culture. A notable group not only for its popularity but also for historical significance is BTS. BTS, creator of international hits like Dynamite, is undoubtedly the most popular K-pop artist, and it would be fair to say they were the ones that made K-pop known worldwide. In fact, BTS is so influential that they even spoke at a United Nations conference. Many fans often refer Blackpink as the girl group version of BTS. Like BTS, Blackpink has shattered and set many records, making history as the first K-pop girl group to perform at Coachella in 2019 and also the first Korean artist to headline there in 2023. There are so many more talented artists and so much more to be said about them, like Red Velvet, but it's time to move on to how this wave of East Asian culture globally affected modern society. First, because of the popularity of Asian entertainment, ethnic diversity has definitely increased on the internet. Of course, racism still remains a huge problem, but over the past few decades, disrespect for various ethnic groups, especially Asian ones, have noticeably diminished. On racism, BTS has spoken at the White House to promote solutions towards anti-Asian hate during widespread Asian discrimination during the COVID-19 pandemic. However, problems still exist. For example, the RCTA community, which stands for Race Change to Another, has sparked discussion. Its members believe that people, typically a non-Asian individual, can change their race to another, especially an East Asian one. This questions the glorification of East Asian culture that rose as an effect of its heavily tinted portrayal in media. Next, East Asian pop culture has significantly affected the scope of emphasis on certain beauty standards. The strict, near impossible, doll-like beauty standards of East Asian pop culture icons, especially K-pop idols, has bled into the global audience due to the internet. This influences its consumers to chase these beauty standards, sometimes at a dangerous cost. Especially in domestic Asian countries, the heavy emphasis on appearance influenced by celebrities has intensified, making cosmetic surgery extremely popular to not just women but men also. In fact, South Korea holds the highest rates of plastic surgery. A more dangerous standard caused by East Asian music is the severe thinness ideal, leading to an increase in eating disorders and a harmful diet culture in not just Asia but worldwide as well. We can see this just by tracing global social media trends as the beauty standard shifts from curvy to slim, a clear example of East Asian cultural influence. Some other global effects of East Asian music's popularity is seen in other various industries. East Asian film consumption has gained global attention. For example, the Korean film Parasite became the first non-English language film to win Best Picture at the Oscars, and just as impressively, the spot for the most watched show on Netflix belongs to Squid Game, which is also Korean. The East Asian beauty industry has grown significantly in global appeal as well. Viral beauty trends promoted by social media has made East Asian cosmetic products much more popular and even mainstream in this modern world, where trends such as glass skin and aegyosil are sought after. Did you know the song from the beginning? Well, that song was APT by Rosé and Bruno Mars, an example of a legendary collaboration between an Asian musician with artists from other countries. APT became the fastest K-pop music video to hit 1.5 billion views and dominated the internet upon its release. And that brings us to the conclusion. In today's pop culture, East Asian music plays a huge role in global entertainment. From your favorite TV shows to viral TikToks, from the trending makeup products to that song you hear at the mall, East Asian music claims its own important role in the history of entertainment. Personally, I feel that just over the last 10 years or so, appreciation for East Asia has increased so significantly. When I was younger, people used to ask me if I was Chinese, likely because it was the main country they knew from Asia. But now I see people carrying K-pop merch and watching Asian shows even in public. So I believe that East Asian music offers a promising future of history yet to be made every day as once overlooked cultures get their chance in the spotlight, creating a more connected, welcoming world for all.